And here we are again. Good morning, BizDev Morning Brew, hitting you up after a holiday weekend, which is always a very interesting time to start off. You relaxed. I hope you've put off a lot of that relaxation time, and now you've been able to gather it all back again and regain some sense of yourself, which is the most important part. Because if without you, there is nothing else. So we want to make sure that you take care of you and be the best you possible, or else everything else really does not fall into place. And when you take these times off, it's very important. However, very interesting that a lot of the questions that were asked over the last week were dealing with the fact of how do I take off from work and trust that things are going to be taken care of? How do I disconnect from work and make sure that all of the processes are going on, all the things that I do on a daily basis are not missed? These are excellent questions, and they're things that I've always fumbled with. And it wasn't until I really got into a point, specifically after I went through my sales mastery course and had a chance to sit with other sales professionals who are on the same level and higher. And when you talk to people who have multiple businesses or multiple structures, even taking care of multiple families, some people have to take care of their own individual family, as well as there are foster parents that I know of that they have foster children, their own children, plus they may be taking care of some other family members as well. So in your personal life as well as in your business life, you can always feel like you're all in and needed 100% of the time. And having your energy pulled in so many directions can drain you, unlike a ship. If you aren't aware of where the holes are in a large vessel, at any given time one end of the ship can start to sink and you can lose control of the vessel as a whole. So you must locate those holes in the ship and put in the proper measures to be able to seal off the leaks. So when you're getting ready to leave your office, that may be something you need to think about. Is there something that needs to be addressed before you leave? Now, this is the thing that you got to put your big boy and big girl pants on when it comes to this. Understand that you leaving is going to cause a change. That is irrelevant. The fact is, you're leaving, so you need to put some things into place to allow things to work with you absent. This is a big deal with owners. All of you, my friends of you who are owners, I am an owner myself, so I feel the same stress. I don't feel some of the stresses that a lot of the people that I know do, when it comes to making sure that giant payrolls are taken care of, when you have onboardings and you have especially when there are situations and issues happening currently with employees and HR issues or anything like that that's underway while you are trying to take your much needed vacation. So I wanted to take a look at another model. I'm big on models because they help us actually see things into a clearer picture. Now we could talk about these all day long. We can throw out suggestions, and those are all great too. And it's also well to look at something visually and see how we can address it with a simple model. So this is one of my favorite models for learning, the retention model, and it gives you the idea of how much of a percentage of information you or anyone else. This is based on science for human behavior, and when the human generally learns something, you only learn about 5% of what you are taught with lecture, and only 10% with reading. And this is one of the two places that we are sent to the most. We are sent to a lecture to learn about how we're going to do our job, and then we're given some materials to read, so that way we can learn it a little bit more. So you have to consistently keep repetition in these areas in order to increase any type of retention. So you'd have to read at least 10 times, 7 to 10 times, 7 to 12 times, before you're able to retain it. And going to a lecture, you'd have to go to dozens of lectures. It's the reason why when you go to a seminar, they sell you another package to go to another seminar because you need more information. You can't just go to one and think you're going to learn it all. You can't just go to one martial arts class and become a black belt. So you also learn a little bit more through visual. And this is the reason why we're doing this here. We're doing this in a visual and in a demonstration mode. So I'm talking to you about how you can learn more through this visual here, dancing around with my little arrow, and also demonstrating to you in this model exactly how much more you can retain information. Now skip down. Let's go all the way down for discussion groups, practicing, and teaching. These are the three areas in which you need to address all of your team. You need to address anybody who's working with you. You need to address anyone who is working on your business or for your business for you to be able to leave. There has to be someone in place who can be addressed while you're gone. And that's why everyone has that in an email. Talk to Stacy, talk to Bob, and if you need something right away, and their email or their cell phone number is in your automated email response, and those are good. However, Stacy and Bob have better gone through some type of discussion group, practice in doing what you do, and you must teach them what you do in order for them to be able to be effective. And these are the three most important things to think about before you leave. I was asked also, when you leave your office, what would I suggest you do in order for you to make sure that things are taken care of? And all of the automations that are in place today are fantastic for you to be able to send out an email, have a text message go out. You can even have a series of emails go out in sequence. If someone were to go to your website or come to your or send an email to you, you can have a workflow set up so that way emails can go out. However, whatever CRM you're using, I mean, I use HubSpot. I'm not sponsored. I'm just impressed. I love how HubSpot works. There are several other automated systems out there that allow you to create workflows and sequences where you can have your a response go out in a series. So if someone clicked on something, another email would go out in response to that. Or if they responded to your email, another email would come out. And you can set a sequence of events so that way people are engaged with you while you're out. And there's an explanation on why they're not getting you personally, or you can actually give them the answer to their question in the emails and have them click and figure things out. Automations are wonderful for that. At the same time, there are those simple things inside the business that do need to operate when you're gone. And when you come back, sometimes things aren't going as well, and you may need to spend this week, today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week to try to fix some problems that happened. And this is where we prevent that. We must have a discussion with our team. Again, I said in the last couple calls, communication is key. You must communicate with your team. In that communication, have a discussion. What is it like when you're not there? What is it like when you are not around? Does your team really have the confidence? We talked about this in the communication hierarchy. We must have significance and they must have confidence in what they are doing, and you must instill that. So you give that as a leader, and even as a general sales rep. Some independent sales reps have done this very often. As an independent sales rep, you may not have the title of leader. However, you are leading your book of business. And that book of business needs to have a set system of understanding that you may not be there all the time. And when you're not there, there needs to be a system in place. So you may need to have a discussion with your sales leader, your sales manager, the owner, or director to let them know, these are the things that I do with my clients and customers. These are the things that I do for my prospects. And I would like you to understand that, have that discussion, practice it. Have someone in your office, and this is one thing that I had a benefit with one of my sales directors. So I was given a sales team, and that sales team was fresh, brand new. I had been a part of a larger sales team that was completely dissolved to just me. And then I was given the entire book of business and asked to regain the sales that were left on the table. And with that, I had a sales director who did not understand sales. He understood marketing, but didn't really understand sales. So he left me to my own devices. And at one time, I spoke to him and I said, you know, if you really want to know what I do, why don't you sit with me for an hour? Sit with me for an hour and see how I communicate with the customers and how I prospect. And you can watch how I do everything and take notes and ask me questions in a meeting, or even evaluate me if you feel. Just spend an hour with me so you can understand. Having a discussion and practicing. We must take the time to practice. And this practice gives us 75% retention. That's an amazing amount of retention when you're teaching something, specifically when you have lecturing and reading being our main modes of being able to express and teach things to other people. And we only get 5 to 10% out of that. And we wonder why people aren't remembering things and they don't understand what's going on. It's because they're not retaining it. You must practice it. You must discuss it, and you must teach. This is probably one of the hardest things because a lot of us really aren't teachers, so to speak. However, when you're in transformation phase, and let's dab into that really quick. When we are in a transformation phase, when we're going through this cycle, performance is every day. Every day you're going through the cycle of performance. You may be going through multiple cycles of performance, and you go through excitement and inception, you fall into deception, and then you go into transformation. All of us as professionals will go through inception and deception and get through it because we want to make sure we're succeeding. And the things that we don't know, we start to learn. And as we slowly start to fluctuate with our attitude and we start to have our competency, started to understanding that we have a conscious competence in what we're learning to do. And then we have our energy levels need to be high. In this space is the perfect time to teach. We have high energy levels as well as being able to understand that we know what we don't know now. And that process is a very empowering process. So when we go back and we get ready to teach, we're able to have a 90% retention rate. We're giving the information, not unlike what I'm giving to you right now. You will more likely retain 70 or 60 to 70% of what I'm telling you here, because one, we're doing visuals, we're doing a audio visual, we're doing demonstration. I'm having a discussion with you, even though you're not speaking back. I'm still having a discussion because I've had this conversation and I'm answering the questions as they've been asked to me. So it's a semi-discussion. That's why I'll give it a smaller percentage, maybe a 30%. But we're practicing it by discussing how we would do it in space, in reality. And I'm really teaching you a lesson here on making sure you communicate and take this information and instill it in how you operate on a regular basis. So who is your number one? Who is your number two? Who is the group? Who is the team? Identify these people, understand what they do, give them the power and the tools to do better, and you will be able to leave the office with a better understanding of how things are going to take place while you're gone. And you'll be able to trust. And that's the biggest thing. I don't necessarily believe that trust is what you need in your team in order to succeed. What you really need is to have your team have the confidence and the significance and the certainty to be able to do their job and give the tools in order for everybody to accomplish the goals. If everyone's in alignment and if everyone is understanding the mission and staying on target, there should not be a reason for you to not leave. You should be able to take off the time that is necessary for you to recharge. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your friends. Go to that new resort that you've been wanting to go to. Spend time painting the house. Whatever it is that you need to take time to do in your personal life should never be derailed for fear. Fear. No. We don't want fear to ever stop us from living. We take fear, we reroute it, deframe it, reframe it, and reinstitute it as power to be able to accomplish all of the outcomes that we have laid out, right? BizDev Morning Brew. High stepping it into the week right after a holiday weekend. This is how we do it. We want to make sure that we have clear communication with our team, our prospects, our entire network of people, that understands if there's a problem, if there's an issue, if there's anything that needs to be solved, you can take care of it. And you don't necessarily need to be there the entire time in order to do that. Have a great day. BizDev Morning Brew every morning, 7 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Bonus day will be on Friday. And I hope you are having a fantastic week as you kick off this new week after a holiday. We're heading into a new month. We're heading into the month of June. This is the pivotal tipping point. This is the time when it's after halftime and you start over. Like my football coach used to say, at halftime, you go into the third quarter, it's 0-0. I don't care what the score was in the first half. The second half begins now. This is where you get to regain all of your energy, all of the things that you said that you didn't want to do before, you start to do now, and all of the things that you feel were mistakes, you can adjust. You don't have to keep going on with the same patterns. You can switch and flip and make things different to work in alignment with how you want the outcomes to be. Outcomes always in our favor. All right. Have a great day. See you next time. Thanks.